So you're over those cheesy bounce-back quotes,
Sounds like it.
and you're ready to really understand resilience?
I think we can go deeper.
Well, get ready to dive deep then.
I'm ready when you are.
Because we're about to uncover the fascinating science behind resilience. And I have got to say, you have given me some seriously interesting studies to unpack.
Well, it seems like you're ready to move past those oversimplifications.
Yeah.
And really dig into what makes some people thrive
Yes.
in the face of challenges.
Exactly.
And how we can cultivate that inner strength.
Yes.
And the good news is
Yes.
you absolutely can.
Music to my ears. One thing I'm noticing from these sources you sent over is that a lot of common beliefs about resilience.
Yeah.
Like that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Might not tell the whole story.
Yeah.
What's the real deal here?
Well, it's catchy,
It is catchy.
but the research paints a much more nuanced picture.
Okay.
Resilience isn't about being invincible or immune to stress.
Right.
It's not about if life throws you curveballs.
Okay.
It's about how you swing.
I like where this is going. So it's less about avoiding hardship and more about how we engage with it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is a key takeaway from several of the sources you shared.
Mm-hmm.
Resilience is a process,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
not a fixed personality trait.
Okay.
Think of it less like a destination and more like building a muscle.
Now that's a concept I can get behind.
Okay,
So we're not just stuck with whatever hand we were dealt.
Not at all.
Okay.
This whole deep dive is about equipping you with the tools to understand and build your own resilience.
I love it.
It takes effort and practice.
Sure.
But the more we understand how resilience works,
Yeah,
the better we can navigate life's ups and downs.
for sure.
And the research actually backs this up.
Really?
One study in the BMJ Mental Health found a strong link between higher resilience and living a longer life.
Wow. So it's not just about feeling good, but
Yeah.
potentially adding years to your life. That's compelling evidence.
Yeah,
But before we go any further,
sure.
I'm really curious about those common assumptions we need to ditch.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions about resilience?
One big one
Yeah.
is that resilient people don't experience negative emotions.
Okay.
In reality, it's quite the opposite. Resilience isn't about being some kind of emotionless robot.
Right.
It's about acknowledging, processing, and learning from those difficult emotions,
Yeah.
not suppressing them.
I've definitely fallen into that trap of
Yeah.
trying to ignore negative emotions,
Right.
but it sounds like that's not doing us any favors.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
One source used a phrase that really stuck with me:
Okay.
emotional soup.
Emotional soup.
Imagine, for instance, that you get passed over for a promotion at work.
Okay.
This emotional soup might be a mix of disappointment,
Mhm.
maybe some anger at your boss,
Mhm.
anxiety about the future,
For sure.
and even a pinch of self-doubt,
It's a recipe.
right?
Yeah.
Resilient people don't deny these feelings.
Okay.
They face them head on.
That makes a lot of sense. Trying to bottle up that emotional soup is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So how do we learn to ride those waves of emotion without getting swept away?
This is where mindfulness comes in.
Okay.
Several of the sources you provided highlighted this powerful connection
Mm-hmm.
between mindfulness and building resilience.
Okay. Mindfulness.
Yeah.
I hear that word everywhere.
Right.
But to be honest, I'm not always sure what it actually means
Yeah.
in practical terms.
Right.
Is it more than just meditation?
You're right. It's more than just sitting on a cushion.
Okay.
Think of mindfulness as cultivating this non-judgmental awareness
Okay.
of your thoughts, feelings, and what's happening around you,
Mm-hmm.
all in the present moment.
So paying attention without getting carried away by every little thing.
Exactly. And the research suggests that this ability to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment
Yeah.
is key for navigating stressful situations.
That makes sense. But how does that play out in real life?
Let's say you have an argument with your partner before work.
Okay.
Without mindfulness, you might spend the entire day replaying that conversation in your head.
Been there.
Right.
It can totally derail your whole day.
Right. With mindfulness.
Yeah.
You can acknowledge those thoughts and feelings as they arise,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of getting hooked by them,
Yeah.
you choose to simply observe them without judgment.
Okay. So it's not about making those negative thoughts disappear,
Right.
but rather changing how we relate to them.
Exactly.
I like that.
And this shift in perspective can be a game changer for our emotional well-being. There's a neuroscientist named Richard Davidson,
Okay.
who's mentioned in one of your sources, who found that practicing mindfulness can actually change the structure of our brains,
Wow.
making us more resilient to stress.
Really?
We're not just talking about some temporary fix here,
Yeah.
but potentially creating lasting changes.
Now that's what I call a deep dive.
Right.
So mindfulness can help us rewire our brains to be calmer and more resilient.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it is pretty amazing.
What are some other strategies for building resilience?
Well, one that kept popping up in your research
Okay.
is the power of social connection.
Okay.
Building strong, supportive relationships with friends, family, even colleagues
Yeah.
can make a world of difference
For sure.
in how we cope with stress.
That makes a lot of sense. Having people to lean on during tough times is so important.
It is.
It's like having a built-in support system.
It is, and it's not just about receiving support,
Okay.
but giving it to others too.
So the act of helping others can actually boost our own resilience.
That's what the research suggests.
Wow.
One paper specifically mentioned that both giving and receiving social support
Yeah.
is linked to what they call positive cognitive reappraisal,
And what is that?
which is basically a fancy way of saying reframing negative thoughts.
Right. Reframing came up earlier with mindfulness, too. It's
It's
like
saying-
taking a stressful situation and finding a more positive or helpful way to look at it, right?
Exactly. It's a skill that can be learned and practiced.
Okay.
And it's not about denying the reality of a situation,
Right.
but rather choosing to focus on what we can control
Okay.
and finding opportunities for growth.
This is reminding me of something else I wanted to circle back to.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier that resilience is a process.
Yes.
And I'm curious to dive deeper into the science behind it.
Okay.
What's actually happening in our brains and bodies when we talk about resilience?
Well, one of the sources you sent goes deep into the neural circuitry involved.
Okay.
And it's truly fascinating.
Okay.
The key players here are the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, the sympathetic nervous system,
Okay.
and specific neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin.
Okay. I'm with you so far.
Okay.
The HPA axis is our body's stress response system, right?
It is.
It releases cortisol, the stress hormone.
Yes, and cortisol is actually crucial for a healthy stress response. It helps us deal with challenges.
Okay.
However, if the HPA axis is constantly activated,
Yeah.
as it often is with chronic stress,
Right.
it can negatively impact our physical and mental health.
So resilience is partly about having a balanced HPA axis.
Yes.
Being able to activate the stress response when needed,
Yes.
but also being able to calm things down afterwards.
You got it.
Okay.
And that's where those neurotransmitters come in.
Okay.
Dopamine is all about reward and motivation,
Okay.
while serotonin plays a key role in regulating mood.
So if we're able to access those reward pathways in our brain,
Yes.
even when facing challenges, that can help us stay motivated.
Exactly.
And having balanced serotonin can prevent those extreme emotional highs and lows that can make it hard to cope.
Precisely. It really highlights how resilience is this intricate dance between our psychology and our biology.
Wow.
And scientists are still unraveling the complexities.
That's incredible. It's like our brains are wired for resilience.
Yeah.
And we can learn to optimize that wiring.
Absolutely.
This is fascinating stuff.
It is.
But I also know from my own experience
Yeah.
that even with the best internal tools,
Yeah.
sometimes the environment we're in can
Yeah.
make a huge difference.
Absolutely. We can't talk about resilience without talking about the environments we create
Okay.
in our families, our workplaces, and our communities.
That makes me think about those inspiring stories of communities coming together
Yeah.
after natural disasters
Mhm.
or facing social injustices head on.
Exactly. Many of the principles we've been discussing for individual resilience
Yeah.
apply on a larger scale.
Okay.
Creating a sense of belonging, ensuring access to resources and support,
Right.
and fostering open communication
Hmm.
are crucial.
Yeah.
When people feel safe and connected,
Mm-hmm.
they're much more likely to weather those storms collectively.
It's like building a safety net,
Yeah.
not just for ourselves, but for everyone around
A
us.
safety net and a trampoline.
Okay.
One of the sources you shared
Yeah.
talked about how early life experiences
Yeah.
play a huge role in shaping our resilience.
Okay.
It turns out our brains are incredibly adaptable,
Mm-hmm.
especially in those early years.
So even if we didn't have the most resilient childhood,
Right?
there's still hope for us to build those skills later in life.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Our brains have this incredible capacity for change and adaptation, something called neuroplasticity.
Okay.
It's never too late to learn and grow.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the strategies we've been discussing,
Yeah.
like mindfulness and cultivating social connections,
Right.
can help rewire those neural pathways for greater resilience.
That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
So it's not just about our genes, it's
Right.
also about the choices we make. And
Exactly.
the environments we surround ourselves with.
Exactly. And this brings us back to that question of nature versus nurture.
Okay.
It's not one or the other,
Right.
but this fascinating interplay.
Yeah.
Having certain genes might make us predisposed to resilience,
Okay.
but it's our experiences and how we respond to them
Yeah.
that really shape how those genes are expressed.
So we have more control than we might think.
This is giving me so much to think about.
And there's even more.
Okay.
Remember that intriguing question you had
Yeah.
about not just bouncing back from adversity,
Yeah.
but actually using those experiences as fuel for growth and transformation.
Oh, yes. The idea of post-traumatic growth really caught my eye.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
It's this incredible concept that while traumatic experiences can be incredibly difficult,
Mm-hmm.
they can also lead to profound positive changes.
Okay.
It's not about minimizing the pain or trauma,
Yeah.
but rather recognizing that even in those dark moments,
Right.
there can be seeds of growth.
So instead of simply going back to who we were before,
Right.
we can actually emerge from those challenges
Yeah.
as stronger, wiser versions of ourselves.
Exactly. And the research on post-traumatic growth is fascinating.
People who experience this kind of transformation often report
Yeah.
a deeper appreciation for life,
Mm-hmm.
more authentic relationships, a renewed sense of purpose, and increased personal strength.
Wow.
They faced the fire and emerged,
Yeah.
not unscathed, but transformed.
That's such a powerful image.
It
It's
is.
like what doesn't kill us can actually make us come alive in a whole new way. This is giving me chills.
They're powerful stuff.
So it's not just about bouncing back to baseline,
Right.
but actually using those experiences as a springboard
Yeah.
to become even better versions of ourselves.
Absolutely.
How do we do that?
Yeah.
What does that look like in action?
Yeah, that's the big question, right?
Yeah.
How do we actually move from simply bouncing back
Right.
to experiencing this kind of post-traumatic growth?
Exactly.
It's a great question.
Yeah,
And it's different for everyone, of course.
sure.
But one common thread in the research
Yeah.
seems to be this ability to find meaning in those difficult experiences.
So it's about asking ourselves,
Right.
okay, what can I learn from this?
Exactly.
How can I use this experience to grow or even help others?
You got it. It's about transforming that pain into purpose.
Wow.
It might involve therapy, journaling,
Yeah.
creative expression,
Yeah.
or connecting with others who've walked a similar path.
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
This idea of finding meaning and purpose in the midst of difficult experiences,
Yeah.
it really resonates with me.
Yeah.
It's like taking those broken pieces and creating a mosaic, something even stronger and more beautiful.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that resilience isn't just about enduring hardship.
Right.
It's about allowing it to shape us,
yeah.
mold us,
Yeah.
and ultimately help us blossom into our most authentic selves.
I love that.
Yeah.
So in a way, resilience is about more than just bouncing back.
Hmm.
It's about growing forward.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that those challenges,
Yeah.
those moments that test us,
Yeah.
often hold the greatest potential for growth and transformation.
Wow. This deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening.
I'm so glad.
We've covered so much ground,
We have.
from the science of resilience
Mhm.
to those practical strategies for cultivating it in our own lives.
It's a lot to take in.
And now this whole concept of post-traumatic growth
Right.
has given me so much to think about.
It is powerful stuff.
It is.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Remember, building resilience is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
There will be ups and downs, setbacks, and victories along the way.
For sure.
But by cultivating these practices,
Yeah.
by really leaning into those inner strengths,
Mm-hmm.
you can navigate those challenges with greater confidence
Yeah.
and emerge even stronger.
This has been an amazing journey,
It has.
and I can't thank you enough for being our guide.
Happy to be here.
For everyone listening, remember that you have the power within you
That's right.
to not only bounce back from life's challenges,
Mm-hmm.
but to actually grow and evolve because of them.
That's the goal.
You are more resilient than you think.
Yes, you are.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you found your inner peace with our podcast. Keep yourself updated and join us on our next episode. Stay safe and healthy, and have a good day. See you soon.